My sister had 2 weddings, an $80,000 honeymoon, and a PhD paid for. But when I asked for a dress, my parents called me ungrateful. My sister is my father's golden child, and no matter how hard I try to make him see me as her equal, it never works, and I think she takes advantage of that. Normally it's not a big deal, but this week, a few things happened that made it extra special. I'm hoping to marry next year, and she asked if she might invite her in-laws, who will visit the next time she comes over. I said all right because my parents were paying, but I know she's only doing it for attention. So she'll have at least 4 members of her political family there, and will undoubtedly parade them around. Also, my parents are planning a huge anniversary in November, but they are postponing the celebration since my sister, who lives overseas, does not want to travel so far until things are calmer. But last month, she went on vacation to a neighboring country. I was eating lunch with them and my fiancé when they told me they were postponing their major celebration until next year, and I couldn't take it anymore. I told my dad, "Of course you will postpone. We should all stop living until she is here." He stated it was inappropriate, and that I was making a huge deal over something unrelated to me. And my mother stated they would have something intimate, and that I was equally important, but I don't believe it. I stood up and told my father, "I'm sorry the love of your life isn't here, but the most important woman in your life should be your wife, not your daughter." I then departed. The next day I felt horrible, and tried to call my mother, who refused to speak to me and instead texted me that I was bitter, hateful, and needed assistance. But they, notably my father, damaged me with their desire to give her such a prominent position in their lives, after she had lived overseas for around 10 years. My father stopped me, and my fiancé is scared that they will no longer pay for the wedding. My sister, trying to be the center of the universe as usual, called me, but I did not answer. I waited a few days, but my parents have not called me. My sister stopped trying to contact me, but she did contact my fiancé to check on me. I went to see my grandfather today, and she told me that I needed to apologize since my parents love both of us, but we are different and have different things. So I started wondering if I was the problem. I just want those days where I am the most important person to my parents, and I continue to believe that my sister's golden child position should be addressed and fixed. But maybe I was wrong in how I conveyed it. Edit. I'm 26 years old. My fiancé is a lady. I also want to clarify that I don't believe my parents are awful people, just bad parents. Edit 2. This has been a long time coming. My sister, 33, and my father had a little club. She is intelligent, having begun reading at the age of 4. My father has taken her to see his clients in a nearby city since she was a child, and she would occasionally stay with one of his best friends who ran a bookstore. She has an extensive book collection, which my parents refuse to discard, even when I beg them to send it to the woman, Dad's best friend, or my sister. They communicate practically every day, discussing economics, politics, and other topics. I'm not interested in any of those. And yes, Dad tried to take me with him, but I was always bored and spent my time going to my games or acquiring us stadium seats for our team. But I think he likes her more. My mother, on the other hand, experiences ups and downs with my sister since they are so different. The most recent issue was my sister's wedding 5 years ago. Yes, she owned 2. One is close with her home, and the other with our country. And my mother wanted her clothes created from a specific fabric, while my sister set a budget for how much the dress would cost, and even wanted to wear the same dress for both occasions. They argued, but she ended up with 2 outfits that were within her budget. She wouldn't even allow me to bring my girlfriend, now future wife, because she wanted it to be intimate. Yet there were around 50 people there. My mother informed my fiancé that she would be buying or creating her dress. My mother and fiancé have a great relationship, therefore I'm sure my sister helped convince her of that. My sister has a PhD that my parents paid for, but she never works in the family businesses. She just advises on occasion and says she doesn't want to be compensated. My parents supported her until she found work, and whenever she received her master's or PhD degree, we had to travel to Europe to be there. I work in a family business, so I know they will have to speak with me eventually, even if they are angry. I could give numerous examples of their fondness for her. I also don't detest her. I only wish she would let me shine on my days. And certainly the wedding would be a gift, but if they were willing to pay for 2 wedding gowns and a honeymoon, I deserve the same treatment. Edit 3. In case anyone is curious, you might be pleased. I received a message from my father instructing me to participate in a family Zoom call where I can say whatever I want, and everyone else takes turns. He threatened to withdraw his money from our firm if I did not attend. So I had to leave. But I promised him I'd ask my fiancée to join us. It was my fiancée, parents, sister, and her husband. When I connected, I noticed my sister was furious. I was the first to speak. I expressed my feelings to them and even mentioned, "Hey, you're treating my wedding differently," as well as what other people had said regarding my parents giving the businesses to my sister. I expressed how hurtful it was. They preferred her. They seemed to talk to her about serious issues, and she receives so much attention, and everyone thinks she's fantastic, etc. And no one said anything or interrupted me, which is extremely frequent in serious family conversations. They then asked if my fiancé had anything to say, and she bravely stated that she did not feel like she belonged in the family. She has always assumed that they see her as a daughter, and she remains by my side. Then it was my mother's turn, and she apologized for my feelings, said they tried to do things I enjoyed, and that they loved us both equally. She stated it was sad because I pretended everything was fine, and they didn't realize how serious it was. But she still believes I need assistance. She then told my fiancé that she loves her, but my sister is her only child. Then came my father's turn. He stated he's sorry I think he doesn't like me, but he's not sorry for loving his child. He stated that I did not mind the tickets, automobiles, or even living in a rent-free residence, and he is dissatisfied. He stated that when they die, everything they possess will be shared 50-50, and that if I do not want my sister to have any involvement in our firm, I can buy him out. He stated they will pay for my wedding regardless, because it is something they have always wanted to do for their children, but they are not pleased with me. He also encouraged my fiancée to be appreciative and not greedy. I was outraged by then over the lack of apologies and the attack on my fiancé, but I kept my cool. Then my brother-in-law informed me he had no idea how I felt about his family, and simply thought his nuclear family would attend, just as I had during his brother's wedding. He said, "No hard feelings about it." Then it was my sister. My sister does not swear or scream when she is actually angry. She is just extremely chilly, hard, and to the neck. She stated she could tell I was distancing myself about 10 or 11 when she came home from university, and I was excluded from several conversations with my father. She stated that she had agreed to be my guardian at the age of 18 if my parents died. Thus she needed to be kept up to date on all affairs, and did not want to worry me. She admitted she should have been a better sister, and was sorry I became so resentful, but her job path had nothing to do with me. She reminded me that I had been offered the opportunity to travel abroad, but declined. She reminded me that I had gone on vacation with her, and informed me that those vacations had been paid for by her or her husband, not by my parents, which surprised me. She said she asked me about her in-laws' visit since they needed to organize their trip around my wedding. She stated that my fiancé and I had just been dating for 7 months when she got married, and she did not want my parents to have to pay for her trip. She stated that she does not want to get paid for consulting because she believes it is wrong, but that the next time she will invoice me her true hourly rate because I am so offended by it. She stated that she traveled to the Netherlands from Germany because she was absolutely burned out, which, as terrible as it may sound, is equivalent to taking a 10-hour flight. She said that my grandmother was the one who told her everything I said since my parents sought to protect me, and that she was done with me for the time being until I started therapy. And she finished by saying that she loves me but does not like me right now. This is an obvious summation, but the way she said the things was something I'd seen her do to others but never to me, and I nearly sobbed. However, she had no softness in her eyes. My parents stated they could get me therapy, or I could find it on my own, and that if I don't do something to better myself, the wedding will be the last thing I got from them. What made me feel worse was the way my sister addressed me. She has never spoken to me like this, even when we were arguing, so I know she is serious. I had my ego delivered to me. Yes, I'm jealous. And yeah, I'm upset. My fiancé is crying, but I believe I need to consider my next move. We are also from Latam. Update 1. I couldn't sleep and decided to read over all of the comments again. I tried calling my sister because, while I am jealous of her, the way she spoke to me pains me. She refused to speak with me, but I could communicate with my brother-in-law. He explained that she doesn't want to talk to me because I profoundly injured her, and she is emotionally drained by me, knowing that if we chat, she will say even more nasty things. This made me understand how much I adore my sister. And the problem is me. I still have negative thoughts and believe I have been slighted. I can't say I'm a completely new person, but my family has never spoken to me as they did. And my sister has always backed me, which I assumed was for the sake of appearances. I'm starting to think she might love me. I am quite perplexed. My brother-in-law is also an incredible man, and he advised me to get therapy and give it time. But I am not sure what to do or where to go. He told me to look into therapists and chose one, and he would assist me decide if I wanted his aid. He also said I shouldn't assume my family doesn't care. They aren't perfect, but they do their best. But he also asked me what my fiancé's family was bringing to the wedding, or our life. And I couldn't think of anything. She lives and works with me, and her parents do not pay anything since they believe my family is better off. I'm not sure where it will lead, but I did tell her I needed help because I had transformed into a monster. So no wedding till my family issues are resolved. She's crying, but says she understands. My grandmother stated that she notified my sister because my parents had just told her there was a fight, but this is not what I said. Looking back, what I said was terrible, and I feel bad about it. She said my family wouldn't respond that strongly, unless they really loved me. I asked my father if I could take some mental days off, which is not allowed in my country, and he agreed it sounded like a wonderful idea, reminding me that they love me and only want me to be happy, not just pretend. In addition, the volumes are stored in her walk-in closet in her parents' bedroom. They still have a lot of my belongings in my bedroom, and my parents have invited me to Sunday meetings whenever I'm ready to attend. I must also disclose that she performed 2 weddings when my parents inquired whether she would be willing to do so. My mother wanted to get her really fancy outfits, and in the end, they obtained 2 dresses for about €800 because my sister set a limit of €300 per dress. I guess I'm jealous of her because she's better than me. I don't want to feel this way, or damage my family anymore. So I suppose I can thank Reddit for the harsh comments. I have a lot of difficulties to go through, as well as a lot of jealousy towards my sister. I don't know where to begin. I'm beginning to worry whether I'm even ready to marry. But if the comments were all positive, I probably wouldn't have noticed it. Of course, my family call was quite difficult to be in. Update 2. It's been a fascinating moment for me and my family. I wanted to share because you, Redditors, are brutal, yet fair. Some people said I ramble, and I do, but I did my best this time. My family took a few days off work to process it all. My brother-in-law recommended a therapist, and I began seeing him right away. We've also had group and couple sessions, me and Dad, Mom, and my sister. It has helped me see all of the difficulties, and we are learning to communicate more effectively as a family, so that no one feels unwanted or undervalued again. I realize I have a long road ahead of me, but I want to get better. My parents say they only want the best for me and want me to feel loved. In addition, I am returning to my hometown. After high school, I moved out because I wanted to be like my sister, but I believe it is the greatest decision now. So when my parents gave me the option, I thought about it and accepted. Baby steps, but good ones. My sister did not speak to me for nearly 10 days. And while it may seem insignificant, this is the longest she has ever gone without communicating with me. It wounded me a lot, and I knew I had hurt her a lot. During our session, she gave me a list of the many messages people have sent about me. They were all favorable, complimenting my abilities and such. Her response was, "We are different but great in our own ways." She furthermore shared with me, "Most of the time, when something happens that my parents know I might give you crap about, they simply don't tell me so there's no drama." She laughed. "Maybe you're the true golden child since they shield you." She's talking to me again and has been very helpful. Am I still envious of her? Yes. But I want to turn that into admiration. My ex. While I understand that my feelings are my own, and that I am accountable for them, my ex did add fuel to the fire. She was always the first to point out what my sister had that I didn't, how much money everyone spent on stuff, and so on. Long story short, we split up. Long story short, I told her I was thinking of returning back home with my parents and pursuing a master's degree or something similar. She was not pleased and continued inquiring about the wedding, but I told her I couldn't think about marriage at the moment, and maybe we might both use a break. I also told her that I would give her 3 months to find a place to reside, or she could pay rent on the house, which my parents own. She was quite angry. They told me I had to marry her, or, if not, let her live rent-free and cover utilities and food because I was breaking up unexpectedly. I told her that was why I was giving her 3 months, and she could use her paycheck because she hadn't spent a dime while we were together. Then things became strange and terrible. She told me she was calling her family, wouldn't be leaving the house, and planned to sue me for mental distress. I went into a panic. She had stated the same thing when I tried to break up with her, but she eventually convinced me that she was the only one who loved me. But this time, when I called my family, they advised me to lock myself out of the house and contact a friend of my sister's. He walked in and told her she could sue. She could do whatever she wanted, she would not get anything, and that my 3-month offer was no longer valid and he wanted her gone as soon as possible. He recorded a video of the situation and informed her that if anything was harmed, he would sue her. My sister had warned him that this was likely to happen, so he was prepared. He did it as a favor for her, as they were kindergarten buddies. A couple of my cousins stayed with me till she left several days later. Her father told me I'd go to hell. She is still employed by the corporation, and will continue to be so as long as she performs. But I no longer have any relationship with her, and have not visited the office. Yes, there is nepotism, and my family hires one another. However, no one would fire her because she does an adequate job and is always on time. I hope she finds love again, but not with me. I am alone at home and will most likely be unemployed next month, as my parents advise me to prioritize myself and my mental health. My brother-in-law has been a rock for me during everything. He actually cares about my entire family, and we are becoming true friends. My grandmother told me that no one loved my ex, and she is glad we are no longer together. She claims they all started disliking her when she became upset, because they didn't purchase her expensive gifts for our first Christmas. My buddies also told me that they did not like her. Turns out, everyone wanted it to end. Some joked about it throughout the years, but they believed she helped me and made me happy, so they coped with her. I hope I have greater luck with love. However, I also need to improve. I might accept the chance to start over abroad, but I am more optimistic. And certainly, my sister and I are attempting to find some common ground. She is absolutely fantastic, and the more I learn about her flaws and quirky habits, such as her lemon juice fixation, the more I appreciate her. Finally, speaking my truth provided me with the results I sought. And while I was a terrible asshole, I can now recognize how fortunate I am. Still not ideal, but a little less terrible. Update 3. Hello, my brutal yet fair buddies. I plan to send you my final update before, but a Redditor informed me of an extremely harsh post criticizing me, which drove me into a tailspin. I am fortunate to be feeling stronger, and would like to provide you with an update, primarily to close this chapter of my life. Also, because I've had so much support, kindness and love, it just feels appropriate to do. I'll also try to keep things straight. My ex. Since I left the company we haven't spoken much, but she grew furious when I informed her I wasn't coming back and we were going to sell it. My father made a deal with a buddy that every employee who wanted to may stay for at least 3 years, and keep their position without being demoted. I informed her, but she thought it was unjust, because people already treated her differently, and she believes people dislike her. I told her I hadn't said anything, but I know people weren't wild about her before, and it's no surprise that now that she isn't related to any boss, they're not putting up with her. We had a lengthy discussion about my future, and it was clear she was not with me for the proper reasons. My sister. I informed her of my posts, and she asked to read them. After some contemplation, I told her my username, and she said she wanted to look it up and we could talk about it later. She was outraged that people were being mean to me, but she was also grateful that people called me out, which I really needed. She stated her lemon juice thing wasn't that strange and teased me about it. In getting to know her better, I've also learned that they've lost 2 babies. But I wasn't told since I didn't appear engaged in their life, and she was concerned I'd react badly. That broke me. It made me understand my sister is a real person, not a myth. I have no idea what she has gone through. It made me very ashamed that I wasn't there for her because I was selfish and arrogant. Even in anguish, she considered how I would feel. Because sure, my sister loves me. She has told me that she loves me unreservedly. But now she's starting to like me again. My brother-in-law and his parents. My brother-in-law is an incredible dude. I genuinely hope to be like him one day. In my own version. I understand more and more why he deserves to be with my sister. He is filled with love and patience. We talked for a long time about having children, and I told him, please don't think I'm an obstacle. He was affected, because he told me they were thinking about not trying at all until I was well. But I know I would never forgive myself if I stopped them from having children. My parents informed me that now that I am making improvements in my life, they would like to spend seasons in Germany. The only reason they didn't before was that they wanted to be near me. It turns out they wanted to be close to me all along, but I was too ignorant to recognize. Me. I am moving to Germany. I decided to try something new. My sister and Bill are assisting me with all of the paperwork. I'm quite excited about traveling under an application permit. My parents are assisting me with document translation, legalization, and other related tasks. I'm applying for a master's degree and will be supported by my family, the sale of the firm, and a small position my brother-in-law has arranged for me. I am currently completing everything, and will be moving at the end of the year. My sister has her own apartment, and she will house me until I find my own. I'm already attending German classes, and my brother-in-law helps me practice. That is why I know my ex is not for me. When I informed her I was moving to Germany, her only question was if she could come, and if my parents would be willing to assist her out because she does not have a wedding right now. She has been writing about how my sister ruined her life with her schemes, but my sister's friend sent her a warning informing her that we will sue her. She stopped naming her, and now all of the posts are passive-aggressive and do not mention my sister by name. I apologized to my sister, but she merely wondered if I would ever reconcile with my ex. When I replied no, she said she didn't care what my ex did. I'm working extremely hard on my mental wellness. I know it will take months or years to reach a point where I am not jealous, but I also know it is for the best. I haven't started dating again, despite some friends' suggestions, since I want to be a worthy man. Plus I'm moving, so there's no sense. My therapist is fantastic, and the fact that we have our sessions online should not be an issue. Sometimes I reevaluate memories and understand that people liked, loved, and cared for me. But I couldn't see it. My sister is actually wonderful, and I couldn't recognize it since I didn't really know her. I was so concentrated on myself. I now realize that I am remarkable in my own right, or so she tells me, and that I should stop comparing myself to her or anybody else. I never appreciated how much my parents cared about me or done for me. But now I know. My family loves me. We're not perfect. I'm not perfect. But I will not take them for granted. I'm looking forward to a brighter future, a stronger relationship with my family, and, if I'm lucky, a new nephew or niece. Thank you for everything you've told me, and for providing the motivation I needed to alter my life. I'm grateful I came across this website. Update 4. Hello to the few who inquired about an update. I recently reviewed all of my posts, and feel both ashamed and proud of them. I was ashamed because I was such an idiot. Proud of the progress made thus far. Things have altered slightly, but they are all positive for us. My parents. They now offer seasonal or short stays in Germany. We have taken up modest hobbies together, such as wine painting, and we are getting to know each other better. My parents may eventually relocate here, but nothing is certain at this time. The anniversary party is still postponed, but they went on a very luxurious trip as a second honeymoon, which they don't seem to care about anymore. My brother-in-law. He's my brother now. I also got acquainted with his brother, who introduced me to their football and pool teams. I soon acquired other acquaintances, but I continued to hang out with him a lot. My sister. She says she likes me again, which is truly the nicest feeling in the world. They're going to try again soon, and I'm really excited for them. Sometimes I tell her when I'm jealous, and she guides me step by step to figure out where it originated from. We've had disagreements, because we're human, but nothing major or lasting, and I believe she is more comfortable with me today. My ex. I don't keep up well with her. We were meant to be buddies, but she was so negative that I just blocked her everywhere. All I know is that she's dating someone else and telling everyone she's glad she didn't marry me, which is the same. I got into the program I wanted. I arrived toward the end of 2021 and stayed briefly with my sister and Bill. There was much disagreement about staying in the same city, but I ultimately opted to do so. I moved out and opted to try student life, but I still see my sister at least twice a week, and my parents when they visit. I'm still in therapy, learning how to improve, and I ride everywhere. I've had a few flings since I arrived, but I'm still not ready for a relationship. I want to find a companion, but it's scary, and I don't want to be misled. A year ago, I made a nasty comment, and now I feel like my life is only getting better. Thank you, everyone. Update 5. I recently showed this to my girlfriend, and she was startled by what transpired. I am quite pleased and like my life right now. I'll be an uncle soon, I'm about finished with my new degree, and I have a wonderful relationship with my family. This is for the few people who asked for updates, and they will most likely be the only ones reading. No drama or bad news to report. So now, I am also enamored with lemon juice. Thank you, Reddit, for busting my ass and enhancing my life. Thanks for watching and diving into this wild family drama with me. If you love Reddit family drama, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss the next one.